What's up, everybody? It's week 5. Where's my camera? Week 5.
5 alive.
It's your man, Sean Delray Boston. It's my man, Maddish like a radish. Lee, how we doing, buddy?
Oh, we're doing fantastic, man. If some of my players can just stop getting injured, we'll be okay. But other than that, man, the sun's shining and we're out.
Sorry, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm squinting because of the red.
Oh God, all that the brightness from that sweatshirt. Oh, so I see you had to keep your beard clean now because of baseball is such a superstitious sport. You got to do it now, right?
Right. Well, the beard did get trimmed. We
was.
talked about that last week, but that's in true Del Rey fashion. It's already getting dark again, so it won't be long. But how about them Red Sox? That's all.
Oof.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not talking about baseball. We're talking about Week 5, DraftKings DFS values. There are a ton of values due to a ton of injuries that we both agree killed us this past weekend, many of them at least, in both regular fantasy leagues and in DFS leagues. Is there one or two that you just really want to highlight as being the Lee sinkers?
Oh, well, I mean, let me tell you. I mean, for me, Jimmy Garoppolo killed me last week, just as far as my DFS. That's the one that just jumps out at me. I don't know. How about you? Who bit you in your leagues?
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
And here's the thing about Dalvin Cook that I really have to take umbrance with. I was watching the NFL Network on Sunday morning, and one of their fine reporters caught him in the proverbial hallway and said, "Hey, Dalvin, how's the ankle? What are we expecting to see today?" And he looked right at the camera and said, "Expect to see me today." So I said, "I'm going to expect to start him." And guess what? I lost. So if that's the Dalvin, hey, I'm accepting trade offers. That's all I'm saying, man. Come on. You can't do that, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
Listen, I get it. You can't let the other team know, and there's people watching the show and stuff like that. But I mean, just dodge the question for God's sakes. Like,
hey, would you rather that, or would you rather like Josh Jacobs last night, who said, my ankle's actually pretty iffy right before game time? Right. Which one would you rather have then on a Monday night? Nevertheless, fantasy imploding.
I got to tell you, I think in this case, I would have rather have Jacobs, and I'll tell you why. Because John Gruden is so in love with Peyton Barber that if Josh Jacobs actually had an iffy, feeling, I am sure we would have seen a lot more of Peyton Barber a lot sooner.
Yeah. Well, he actually got hurt, I believe, in the opening kickoff or something like that, right?
He did. So it is possible that's why we saw so much of Josh Jacobs, because Peyton Barber wasn't available. But anyway, that is not what we're talking about. That's all in the past. Also the future. Also, what's the future? So, what the future is.
Get your bets in now.
Anyway, all right. So, Lee, DFS values. We're talking DraftKings, and we're talking values for Week 5. We're going to start at quarterback. Lee, who do you got your eyes on?
Absolutely. Well, my favorite value play of the week comes from a Mr. Trevor Lawrence. At 5,800, you're going to get a great cheap value, as he's had, a very maligned struggles to start the year. Everybody knows about it being the number 1 pick, but last week against the Bengals, he looked like the quarterback that you wanted to draft. He had 8 carries, 35 yards. Both were season highs. He got into the end zone rushing, almost got into the end zone a second time. The offense looked like it was moving the ball. Unfortunately, he lost DJ Chark last week to injury. Another guy who you want to talk about injury bug. Yep. But this week he comes up against the Tennessee Titans defense, who literally just gave up 300 yards and 2 touchdowns to Zach Wilson, who is the only quarterback who probably looked worse than Trevor Lawrence so far to start the season. So, Trevor Lawrence is high upside play with him looking to start using his legs and throwing it around a bit more.
Dude, I got to tell you something. If your defense allows the Jets to beat your team, that is a bad defense. And I agree. I think that this price is way too low for a guy who is going to be doing everything he possibly can to win the game. We saw that against the Bengals. He literally played his heart out, and I love that pick. Who else you got, man?
Yeah, so two quarterbacks in the same game that I'm looking at. So Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones. Dak Prescott coming in at 6,900. To me, again, is a very, very cheap play for somebody who's the head of a top 5 offense in the National Football League. We saw last week he was running a bit more, to whereas I believe he had like a 25-yard rush.
Yep.
So certainly like to see that. Meaning to me, that means a chance for him to rush for a touchdown, which is something he's been very good at in his career. So if he's adding that element to throwing for 400 yards a game, throwing for 2 to 3 touchdowns a game, I mean, 6,900 is going to get you everything you want. And then on the backside of that, Daniel Jones coming in at 6,000. The Cowboys do nothing but give up points to fantasy quarterbacks. And Daniel Jones coming into this game, Saquon Barkley's getting healthier, so you've got to worry about that. So the defense is going to be up a little bit, gives Daniel Jones the opportunity to beat him over the top. Kadarius Toney's being a little bit more involved in the offense with some of the other pass catchers hurt. He's somebody who I look to extend the field, go deep downfield. This is a game, where, the way to attack Dallas is in the middle of the field and with the tight ends. Daniel Jones is going to eat up the middle of the field. I'm seeing a ton of yardage, probably rushes for a touchdown here. Another high upside play.
The thing about Daniel Jones is very interesting, and you can look at it right here if you can see the screen. Look at the rushing yards the first 3 weeks when Saquon was a little bit gimpy. Right. And then here's Saquon's return. And so, he's going to have to be passing. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about Daniel Jones. He's going to have to be passing a lot to continue this trend of, high upper 20 to 30 fantasy points if he's not running the same way, which with Saquon healthy, why would he have to unless he's just scrambling?
Right, and that's where I see you might get a lot less, like you said, less design runs in that.
Right.
But that's where you're going to get a lot more of probably him rolling out more. Play action is going to be a little bit more effective. So that's the reasoning for Daniel Jones.
Well, the first guy that I love is Sammy, 2 touchdowns here, Sam Darnold. He has just been electric this season. It really goes to show putting a talent on a talented team with weapons around him, what he could do. Yep. The only reservation I have with Sam Darnold at 6,600 is actually if Christian McCaffrey plays. If he doesn't play, I mean, in the words of our fearless leader, Laquan, this is a full stream right here, man. But if McCaffrey does play, I'm a little bit more hesitant to play him. But, I mean, in this matchup with Philadelphia, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think 6,600 is too low based off of the performance that he's had so far. And, a little teaser when we talk about stacks later this week, the Darnold to DJ Moore stack is going to be fantastic. Again, if McCaffrey doesn't play. That's really the asterisk on there.
Yeah, Sam Darnold to me, he's been very efficient. He's completing a high percentage of his pass. The rushing has been just phenomenal. And I own Sam Darnold in some of my leagues where, I missed out on some quarterbacks late and picked him up in free agency. And I mean, he's been producing every which way. I mean, he hasn't been throwing a lot of touchdowns, which, is something that might concern me in that offense. But man, he's making up for it. He's making up for it. That's for sure.
The second guy that I want to mention here is a guy that I'm shocked that his price came down. Well, not too shocked, I guess, based off performance, but it's our friend Baker Mayfield, your friend of mine. This is an interesting price at $5,500. He's definitely going to be in a battle on the field. I mean, the Chargers looked awesome against the Raiders, and the Raiders' defense was no slouch, and so they put up some major points. They had they just look great. And I think Baker's going to be having to throw here. A little plus in there. I did see Higgins is going to be back for this game, which is nice. But it's also going to be another week in practice with Odell to get that timing down, that deep shot that he just missed Odell on.
Yep.
That was 100% Baker. I'm sure he wants to get it back. $5,500 in a really competitive matchup against a really highly competitive team. I think that's way too cheap for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I got burned by Baker last week. I thought he was going to have a great week. Him and Odell, certainly underperformed last week. So not to take gimmick infringement, from anyone, but yeah, Baker Mayfield, you just made the list.
Oh man, that brings stuff back. Hey, just to be fair, what you should have on that list is if he had hit Odell deep there,
Yeah.
that would have been a touchdown, and both men's fantasy day would have been bigger. So I think it's better. I think bigger and better is coming from Baker, and 5,500 is too cheap. Here's a dart throw that you're gonna kill me on. I think, I don't know, maybe you're not. I don't know, but something tells me I'm gonna have at least one lineup with Taysom Hill in it. I mean, come on.
Come on is right. Like the Swiss Army knife. Oh,
he's 100% the Swiss Army knife. He actually had how many touchdowns this past weekend?
2 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns from inside the 10. So Alvin Kamara owners everywhere freak out.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, man, Taysom Hill. Hey, listen, if Jameis Winston struggles against a Washington defense, who maybe they step up and they get the pressure and put Jameis on his butt a few times, then hey, we could be seeing a couple drives with Taysom Hill, and he doesn't need too many drives to cash in on a great day, man. 2 drives get into the end zone, and he's got you 20 points, as we saw last week.
The thing that I'm just thinking back here is he had 2 receptions this week, which is 2 more than Kamara had, which is 2 more targets than Kamara had. So that's got to change. But I do think that there is one sure way to, kind of slow a pass rush down, and that's with gadget plays with this guy. 5,100. I'm going to be multi-entering this weekend. I'm going to have at least one lineup with him. Way too cheap there. If he's got 2 touchdown upside again against the Washington defense. Last guy I want to bring up though, call me a homer or not, but my man, Mac Jones.
Nope, dude. I was going to tell you to bring him up if we didn't. Absolutely.
I mean, come on, 5,300. He put on a performance, like 100% put on a performance. Nick Foles lost that game for them. And the reality is he's playing the Houston Texans. I mean, what else do you need to say?
Give me the Zeke meme right there. Just eat it up. I mean, yeah. He's another guy who I'm going to look to stack in a couple lineups this week. I mean, you saw what everybody's been doing to Houston. I mean, what Josh Allen just did to Houston. They're not putting up a fight. And what better way to get right?
40 points at halftime. I mean,
yeah. When Mitch Trubisky's out there taking snaps, I mean, that's all we need to say. Not only is he taking snaps, Mitch Trubisky rushed for a touchdown, by the way. So yeah,
he surely did. He surely did. All right, let's move on to running back. What are you looking for running back this week?
All righty, yeah. So running backs. I am going to start with.
By the way, I just opened this up. Look at this. McCaffrey, questionable.
Look at all those cues.
Jones, questionable. Barkley,
and actually, Zeke, I'll start right there with Zeke.
Nixon, West.
So we got Zeke and Pollard.
Out. Oh my god,
it's insane. You want to talk? Dude, the theme of this then should just be injury bug.
Yeah.
My favorite saying is, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. Well, the injury bug has turned us all into. So we're going to segue off of that Mac Jones pick. We're going to stay in the same game. Damian Harris. 5,500.
Yes, that's right.
This is the kind of game that in the beginning of the year when you were looking at Damian Harris thinking, man, he can score a lot of touchdowns. This is the game you were circling. Houston gives up 125 yards per game. They're giving up 400 yards total as a team, giving up points galore. Give me Damian Harris to score 2 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, anybody who is scared of Damian Harris based off of the last 2 weeks, you got to remember that he was playing the number 1 and number 2 defense, run defenses back to back, and he wasn't gonna make any hay there. But if you look back to, let's just take a real quick at the game log here, because you look back at week 1. How many attempts did he have here? Where's the attempts right here? 23 attempts
23.
in week 1 against Miami, 16 against the Jets. I think that we're going to be much closer to those totals in week 5 here. All right, so where else are you looking? Damian Harris is a great pick, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. Next one I'm going to go with, we're going to go to the Patriots' former quarterbacks running back here, and I'm liking Leonard Fournette this week.
Okay.
Now, Leonard Fournette, if you drafted Leonard Fournette, if you've played Leonard Fournette the last couple of weeks, maybe you've been a little bit disappointed.
Yep.
But realistically, should you really be that disappointed in his production? I mean, he has not gotten in a touchdown yet.
Uh-huh.
You throw a touchdown on any one of his weeks, and he enters the top tier running back.
Yep.
He's getting a ton of usage in the passing game department. When he has double-digit touches, he does amazing things with them. Well, double-digit carries, I should say. Yep. He does amazing things with them. I mean, if this guy rolls into the end zone against Miami, he could put up 20 points easily. And at 5,200, I want a little piece of that.
I think it's a great price. He had a great performance, I thought, on Sunday Night Football, and I'm shocked that. Well, actually, I'm not too shocked because DraftKings pricing comes out roughly around about an hour before kickoff. Right. Sorry, about an hour after that. But I am surprised that he didn't get a bump in price here after that game. Great price on him. Great matchup there. You're gonna laugh when I tell you the first guy I have because it is kind of funny. But I mean, come on,
James Conner.
$5,600. But here's the thing. I just want to check this out here. 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions, 2 targets, right? This guy is the goal line guy of the number 1 offense in the league.
Yep.
They were named the number 1 team in the league. They just literally put a hurt on the Rams, right? And this guy is going to be your goal line runner. He could fall in the end zone 3 times.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And nobody's going to play James Conner. Nobody.
Nope.
Nope. I will gladly take 20 points at low ownership for just 2 touchdowns and 2 in a couple runs and maybe a couple catches.
Yeah, I mean, James Conner is one of the guys who he's either getting you 4 to 5 points because he had 30, 40 yards, or he's getting you 18 points because he fell into the end zone twice. You worry about Kyler Murray taking those red zone touches, but yeah, man, I mean, this is what the value is all about, right?
Kyler could take 1, and then James could take 2.
That's right. Who else you got?
Well, the guy that I really don't know what to do with, and I'm kind of curious what your take is on this guy, is what are we doing with this guy, Devin Singletary here?
Devin Singletary. I mean,
the forgotten man in that backfield, it seems.
He is. Zach Moss definitely was the popular play the last couple of times. Devin Singletary, I mean, he's not getting as much passing usage consistently as you'd like to see from what his role, your expected role, in that offense is. So the high or the upside of him on the carries is usually in that 15, kind of range. Yep. And if we're blowing out everybody like Buffalo has been, obviously this game's not going to be a blowout, but he's not really going to get to that 20 carry, 25 carry. He's really not getting a lot of red zone, carries and touches. He runs one in from, a long range for you, but he's not getting a lot of touchdown opportunity. And that's what drives me away from him.
So the only thing that is making this value pick pop in my head though is the game, the Kansas City Buffalo game. The Kansas City Chiefs are as bad as they are through the air defensively. They are a sieve for running backs, and it's gonna most likely be a very high scoring game. And I'm only throwing this out here, complete dart throw, but a $4,700 cheap dart throw that you could have a situation where Singletary sees a little bit more action, maybe even lining up wide. You know what I mean? Lining up in a slot or something like that. I don't know. It's just it's a guy that I find very interesting. At the beginning of the season, he seemed like the guy.
Yeah, and then, very much so.
And then Zach Moss was injured and inactive for 1 week, and suddenly he's kind of a forgotten guy. But for $4,700, Again, in multi entering time period like type of situations, I have no problem having at least one lineup with him in it. The other guy that I have to ask about and how it's possible that his price is not going up in the same game is Clyde EdwardsHelaire. Yeah, there was some question marks there, but I mean, the last 2 weeks, 100 back-to-back 100-yard games. Seems like he's very involved. Again, this is going to be a very competitive game, very high-scoring game.
Yep.
Chances for multiple touchdowns, goal line stands. I mean, I don't know. That just seems to me they have not moved on this guy's price at all, and in his last 2 weeks, I think warranted it. What do you think about CEH this week?
Well, he still hasn't rushed for a touchdown, and that's the one thing that bothers me.
True.
He's caught a touchdown each of the last 2 weeks on some kind of, a real close plays, some of those touch passes, shovel passes from Patrick Mahomes, but he's not getting in the end zone. He's getting those carries in the goal line, but he's not getting in, which was the exact same thing that was his problem last year. So for me, that stifles his high-end play. He's a top 20 running back for sure, just because of that offense and kind of how much he's involved in it. But his ceiling, if you would, for me, is usually capped.
Yeah. No, I think I do think you're right. I just was curious what you thought on him.
Of course.
It's kind of weird that he's only $100 more than this guy, Damian Williams, who obviously is going to have a huge opportunity with David Montgomery out, and in a I guess a plus matchup. Austin Eckler certainly made it a plus matchup against the Raiders.
Yes, he did.
But I just find it to be very strange that Clyde, in what should be the highest scoring game of the week, Buffalo and Kansas City, is only $100 more than Damian Harris. Or maybe it's that Damian Harris is only $100 less than Clyde, with probably a better on the team opportunity.
I probably would take it the other way. I would probably feel more comfortable playing Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week than I would be playing Damian Harris. It's not the same kind of offense in Chicago than they do in LA. So to me, and Damian Harris, if I'm not mistaken, or Damian Williams, pardon me, also comes in with
I keep saying Harris,
little bit banged up, but yeah, two other running backs, to touch on real quick. We talked about Dalvin Cook and what happened to him. So Alexander Madison's another guy to kind of keep an eye on. And then one other guy who had his worst performance of the season last week, DeAndre Swift, coming in at 6,100. Wonderful floor with his receptions. Had at least 4 receptions in every game this year, at least 30 yards receiving in every game this year. When he gets double-digit carries, he's putting up 22, 23 points per game. So in a game that could be, high scoring, especially on the Minnesota side, he could get a ton of passes game usage. This could be a game where he catches 10 balls.
Yeah, so let's see. He only ran 8 times last time. The funny thing about that is I do feel like this is a game that they're going to rely on him a lot more. Even if Cook is not in there, if it is Madison, I think Kirk Cousins is going to be raring to go after the loss last week. I think that his passing acumen, his passing acumen is going to be a real plus. The other guy who is going to be ultra chalky, uber chalky.
Yes.
Cordarrelle Patterson,
yes.
Wide receiver / running back, under $6,000, 3 touchdown upside in a game against the New York Jets. I mean, you know what? I'm going to eat this chalk all day long. Too cheap. That's all I can say. It's like somehow or another the Atlanta Falcons unlocked what 3 other teams couldn't do.
Yeah.
But man, this guy is going to be uber popular. Would you have a chance of playing some Cordarrelle Patterson this weekend?
I'm going to full-blown stay away from Cordarrelle Patterson this week. I have a feeling that this is a 5-point week from Cordarrelle Patterson.
5-point week.
This is a comeback down to earth. I mean, he's not getting a lot of touches.
But the touches he's getting are the high.
He's doing fantastic with them. Yes.
Wait, hold on. The touches he's getting are the value touches.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's doing wonderful things with them. But he's not. I mean, it's going to crater. It's going to crater.
Okay.
And the Jets are a fast defense. They're a
Sure.
fast defense.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. How did Derrick Henry do last week? I can't remember.
He ran over them. That's for sure.
He did? That's,
He only got in the end zone once, though. I'm very surprised.
well, I mean,
Um,
Cordell could get 3 touchdowns in that game and only touch the ball 3 times and probably outscore Derrick Henry this week.
5 points. I'm putting it up. 5 points in week 5 for Mr. Cordarrelle Patterson.
What do you want to bet on that, man?
I'll bet a millionaire ticket. How's that sound?
You're going to bet a millionaire ticket?
What's that? $20? Millionaire ticket. $20.
All right, that's it.
What do you want the over under? You want to over under 5 points?
I say Cordarrelle Patterson. Oh, I want to say that. Hold on.
What do you do? What do you want to call it? 9?
Yes. I think 5 points is too low, so I'm giving you that benefit of the doubt. I think Cordarrelle Patterson scores double-digit fantasy points this week.
And I say he scores under.
All right, $20 millionaire maker ticket on the line.
On the line. Let's go.
You all heard it out there. All right, let's go to wide receiver. Who are we looking at a wide receiver here?
All right, first guy I'm going to pull up in the wide receiver mark is someone who's very popular early in the season and went away, and I'm talking about Mr. Marquez Callaway. Now, Washington, absolutely, $4,700. Washington gives up a ton of yards, a ton of points to wide receivers.
Okay.
And hey, man, who else is catching the ball out there?
Yep. True. 2 targets, 74 yards. It's a pretty awesome.
That's it. You want to talk about somebody who does things with a little bit? He's the downfield threat. This is the way you're beating Washington. You're beating them deep, as we've seen, time and time again. So I'm taking a flyer with him at 4,700.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, maybe that's not a bad stack with Mr. Taysom Hill.
You know what's funny is that DraftKings actually lists him right here as number 1 wide receiver. So. That's kind of bizarre. I don't know. I don't know why it's funny.
So the next guy I'm looking.
I gotta mention
no, go ahead.
This guy, because I just saw when we were scrolling down, I saw, oh my God, he's questionable too. Will Fuller just went on the IR again. Like, come on.
Oh man, we can't win this year. I'm telling you.
We can't. But what a game! What a game he had last week with Will Fuller on the field, and now Will Fuller's back off the field. He was going to be a monster this week, and now he's questionable. But Devontae Parker too cheap at 5,400. Who you got, man?
All right, next guy I'm going to bring up, Kendrick Bourne, $4,000
yes.
in a game against Houston. He's slowly taking over as the number 1 from Jacoby Myers.
And or Nelson Aguilar.
I mean, to me, Nelson Aguilar has always kind of been more of the downfield threat. But Kendrick Bourne, he's working in the middle of the field. He did that when he was in San Francisco, and he's providing that outlet for Mac Jones, rookie quarterbacks.
Really good in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got Houston coming in. Who what better day to feast? And I mean, for that term, I mean, I don't think any of the New England pass catchers are priced relatively high. So if you wanted to take your flyer on Nelson Aguilar at 4,400 or even Jacoby Myers at 5,600, that's probably a little higher than what I'd go for him. But they could be great value plays in a game where New England probably puts up more points than they do any other week.
For sure. Here's another guy here under $6,000, Marquise Hollywood Brown. I mean, he has been. How is this guy not getting respect from DraftKings? You look at the game logs, you watch the game, the games, he's looking bigger, he's stronger. If he's not dropping the ball, he's catching a bomb. I mean, this is a way too cheap price for this game and this team. So I don't know. What do you think about Hollywood here?
I love Hollywood Brown this week. If we recall, Indy has been giving up a ton of over-the-top touchdowns. You remember what Tyler Lockett did to this defense. It's exactly what Marquise Brown can do. He can get deep, he can get open, and he can score on 2 deep touchdowns for you.
Yep.
Absolutely love that pick.
Last pick I want to mention is this guy, Laviska Shenault.
Oh, yeah.
Going up against the terrible Tennessee Titans. No more DJ Chark. As soon as Chark left that game, Shenault entered it. He did things that we never saw him do, like catch a pass over 10 yards down the field. And so I'm looking for more of that. And $4,800. I mean, that's an awesome price for this guy, and it's only going to go up from here. So get him while he's cheap.
You want to talk about cheap pass catchers in that same game?
Okay.
I posted this on Twitter.
Okay.
Josh Reynolds.
Okay.
Last week.
Former Ram.
$3,300.
Yes.
He is going to be the number one receiver until A.J. Brown and Julio Jones come back.
Well, I do have bad news for you. A.J. Brown did practice today.
That doesn't mean he's coming back. That's soft tissue injury.
Okay.
Give him another week against Jacksonville.
I'm with you. By the way, look at. I want to point this out. Josh Reynolds, number 18, wide
number
receiver.
18, baby.
Number 18. Yeah. Those. By the way, those are his
the jersey numbers. Yes. But last week,
number
9 targets, 59 yards, 6 catches. He dropped a pass in the end zone on a real tough catch where he was trying to come down and the ground kind of knocked it loose. He catches that, and we're looking at him having a 20-point day. Against a Jacksonville defense that gives up points to wide receivers, I'm definitely going to have Josh Reynolds in my lineups this week.
Now, that's a great call. That's a great call, man. You got a tight end you want to talk about?
I definitely have a tight end I want to talk about. I had alluded to it earlier about how you beat the Dallas Cowboys is to attack them with the tight ends and up the middle. And this is the time to play Evan Ingram.
Really?
We have waited and waited how many years now to play Evan Ingram? But this is the week.
It's been a minute to say the least. It's been a minute.
3,200. We've got his fellow pass catchers are banged up. This could be a week where he is getting double-digit targets. Very good opportunity to get in the end zone. I am 100% smashing Evan Ingram this weekend.
All right. Well, you go ahead and smash that because I'm gonna wait for that train.
You do that.
Yeah, but you know who? Sorry. I'm happy to put another bet on the table there.
It's okay. Maybe we'll talk about that one. I don't feel as strongly about that one, but
all right. How about this guy?
Sure. Yeah.
Real deal, man. He's an end zone target. Look at the TDs. 5 TDs in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we're going to stay in games that are high scoring or presumed to be high scoring. And this is probably going to be the highest scoring game of the week, KC and Buffalo. I love this price, $4,300 for Dawson Knox. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the pass catchers in Tennessee. We got your boy Ferkshire is back.
Yeah, Ferkshire. Yeah.
He was activated last week. And at $3,100, he's interesting again.
Sure. After writing about Ferkshire as a potential target, I watched him drop 2 balls.
Yes, he did.
And then I just said that's why you don't write about Anthony Ferkshire. I think. That was kind of the assumption that I had there. Okay, so let's bang out some defenses. We're running out a little time. I want to talk about some lineup stuff we want to do, and so let's talk about some defenses. I got one right here that I absolutely love the price on, out of the idea that perhaps Jameis is being old Jameis more. $2,300. Is this the week that Chase and the team, the football team, pick it back up? I don't know, but $2,300 too cheap to not take a chance.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. For me, I am going to take a defense of former glory as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if Teddy Bridgewater does not play, at $3,300. Drew Lock could throw a pick 6. Yep. And that'll get you some great return on that $3,300. So that's the defense that I'm kind of looking towards.
Man, by the way, could you find another team that had just so much potential that just all of a sudden, like, literally got flushed away the second Drew Lock came on the
Oh my God! Could you the offense just became anemic?
You literally, it was almost like you heard an entire audience just put like a spike in their heart. And at the same time, all due respect to Drew Lock, bad news. Okay, I like that pick. All right, so let's build a lineup while we're here. I got one that I was pretty proud of that I built earlier on. So I'm gonna put this together for you. You tell me what you think. So we're gonna start with Sam Darnold here, right? And then we're gonna we're going to go right to the obvious stack of DJ Moore.
Yep.
Right, here he is. We didn't talk about him, but $7,500. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 3 of the week, I would guess. And again, this stack here, if Christian McCaffrey comes back, I'm going to wipe this stack away. But for right now, Christian McCaffrey's only practicing. We don't know if he's playing. All right, now I'm going to come running back here. I'm going to go wicked tight end value with Zach Ertz, who's had a touchdown in the last 2 weeks to run back that stack. Right, we're going to use Damian Harris that we talked about earlier in the show, $5,500 in that matchup against Houston. I like, let's see, I got it on my phone here, so let me just take a quick look. I had built it earlier today. Why don't you filibuster while I'm looking for it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that Damian Harris pick.
Yep.
I think Sam Darnold and DJ Moore, they're kind of becoming matchup proof, but I would worry a little bit about Darius Slay in Philly. It could be, and we've been waiting on this game. It could be a Robbie Anderson game.
You're talking about big play Slay?
I'm talking about big play Slay.
Big play Slay?
But I mean, if there's been one bright point on the Philly defense, it's been that they have kind of shut down number one wide receivers.
Now, earlier when I made this today, Devontae Parker was not questionable, so that might also change. But then I love that play of Chenault under $5,000 in that matchup. My DST, we already know who that is. That's the football team at $2,300. Hold on, what's going on here? What's going on here, DST?
You're trying to pull James Washington out of here.
Yeah, I know. Not who I want. I want these guys. You know why? Because my final 2 pieces. Are you ready for this one? All right, let's go to the
studs.
Oh, you know it. You know it, buddy. James Conner.
Ooh, James Conner.
Oh, I don't want him there. I want my flex.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to reveal my flex, I guess. Here we go.
Yeah, who's left?
Also,
who's the stud of all studs?
Wasn't questionable when I picked him earlier, but Zeke in that matchup against Dallas, I think he's gonna go wicked low owned. He's been a Dallas cruncher his whole career, and now
a Giants killer. Yes,
giant killer. I can't find James Conner anymore, so it just automatically goes to all. See, there he is, James Conner, $5,600. I have $1,900 left in my remaining salary, just in case, say, Devontae Parker or Zeke Elliott, end up gimpy. I can move things around. For instance, if Zeke can't play, $1,900. I could put McCaffrey in if he's in. I could put Kamara in, Cook. I got room to move there with those savings going into the weekend this far in. Or, for instance, Devontae Parker can't play. Let's take a look. Let's see. We got Mike Williams, who had a bad game. Here we go. Deebo Samuel at $7,100 could fit right in there. So there's a lot you could do with this lineup. What do you think, man?
Oh man, I absolutely like it. The Zach Ertz play, man. Carolina has been sneakily poor against the tight end, so I think that's a real good value play as well. We didn't mention him. I made my comment about DJ Moore, Deebo Samuel. Trey Lance is going to be one of the most popular plays this week. I know we didn't talk about him, but he's going to be super chalk. And Deebo Samuel seems like he is quarterback proof this year. I mean, he's doing everything and anything right. I like the lineup, but I actually did build a lineup myself.
Oh, cool, man. All right. Well, let me
that we can go through real quick.
Sure, of course. Yeah. And that's one thing when you're building lineups early. Pick your plays, but always leave some cash on the table because, just like I did right there, I swapped Devontae Parker off for Deebo Samuel. That's a heck of a upgrade. Or I moved, Zeke can't play. Maybe I play Saquon on Barkley on the other side of that game if Zeke's not in.
Absolutely.
So if you're building early, keep some cash on the table. And that also comes with using value plays. So, all right, man, who are we starting with?
So my quarterback on my lineup was going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
And I'm going to stack him with his 2 main pass catchers of Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault.
Okay. Marvin Jones
Jr.
Yep.
Who I think is going to get a ton of targets.
Yeah. Also a junior.
We're going the junior squad. Then I'm going to correlate that with the same game with some Derrick Henry.
Look, he's right there.
right there.
Ready to be picked. Go ahead.
And then we're going to throw DeAndre Swift as my second running back.
Okay. All right, cool. That's cool. I like that play.
Throw Evan Ingram in the tight end position.
I hate that play, but I'm with
I know you do, but when he scores 15 to 20 points, you won't be you'll eat that crow.
Is that in Madden 22? You mean?
It might be.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
Our defense, we are going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. Just win, baby.
Just win.
Yep. They did not just win this past weekend, though.
No, they did not.
No.
But the defense still gets pressure.
Dude,
and then
Max
in the flex
Crosby's
position,
nasty. That Max Crosby's nasty. All right, go ahead. Yep.
I'm going to take Mr. Leonard Fournette, Uncle Lenny, playoff Lenny.
Leonard. Yeah. Okay. Playoff.
And there you have it. There is a value-based lineup.
Who was your third?
Playoff Lenny. Playoff Lenny.
Who's your third wide receiver? Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Hold on.
Yeah.
Who is my third wide receiver? Debo Samuel. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Yep, we love Debo. We
love Debo here. Yes, we do.
All right, cool, man. Well, I'll enter both of these into this contest. This is I don't think I'm going to do this one because neither of us have Thursday players, but
no.
We'll enter this into lineup and contest, see what's going on. One thing that Lee and I, if you're still watching, we appreciate it. One thing Lee and I want to do is start getting some contests with some of our viewers on DraftKings.
Absolutely.
So one fun way to say, hey, we want to do that too, is to tweet either me at Delray Boston or Lee at Mash Lee on Twitter and send us your lineups, and we can retweet them and we can compare them to ours this week. And if we get enough people there, next week, week 6, we'll launch a DraftKings contest between us and anybody who's watching. And I think we'll probably win, but that's okay. I'm not going to tell you that up front because I don't want you to feel bad about trying it out. So
we want you to get in, right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's the ticket. All right, man. So we're going to talk stacks later on this week, but for now, we appreciate you checking us out as always. Real Deal Fantasy HQ is your place, and DFS Kings right here at Delray Boston is me. At Matash Lee is Lee, just like a Ratash is me.
One day it'll be smooth. I promise.
Yeah, it gets better. I like
it's getting better.
I like to tease you a little bit. Hey, we're running a little long. So anyway, make sure you lock in realdealfantasyhq.com for all your fantasy needs, and we appreciate it. We'll see you later in the week. Good luck with your contests.
Make that money.